Anti-Afro Spingalies. I've been looking at the situation involving Wendy Williams and hearing a lot of people giving their opinions and views, which people can do that. But it amazes me how many of these people completely ignore history. A lot like the Umar Johnson sector, they act like there's no history that went down. They're only looking at the here and now. And of course, they don't want to factor in history because it's going to debunk the position that they're currently asserting. Wendy Williams' family are the absolute dead last people who should be involved with any aspect of managing any part of her life. Yeah, visit. Go out, have a good time. They shouldn't have any control over anything involving Wendy Williams. They're a bunch of shady crooks. How soon we forget. It was Wendy's family that was gouging her bank accounts, raiding her bank accounts, that popped everything off, that got Wells Fargo to say, what in the hell is going on? That's how it got started. Wells Fargo didn't jump up and say, you know what? Here's a black woman with multi-millions. We don't like the fact that she has all this money. We're just going to put a freeze on her account. Her family was ripping her off. That's what happened, people. While there were no criminal charges being filed, they even said Wendy Williams was expressing concerns about what was happening to her money, and obviously she didn't have the capacity, the wherewithal to do anything to stop it. For those people who actually read the court documents, the ones that were released to the public, now things are sealed, but there are court documents that have spelled everything out. Over and over again, the Guardian was saying the court will be able to get this document, that document. However, we want to file it under seal because the last time we filed this and that document and we asked the family not to disclose, it got out to social media. So finally, the court authorized a complete and total seal on the records. So what do we have at this point? The family is in hysteria mode, trying to rile everybody up because they can't get what they want. Here's the question you need to ask yourselves. What is the reason that no one in Wendy Williams' family put in the 29-page application to serve as her guardian? You're not going to get anything done going to social media crying and complaining because you don't have unfettered access to Wendy Williams' money. They want unfettered access to Wendy Williams' money without the government involved. That's what her son had. Her son needs to be thanking the white folks for getting a degree. Yes, I said it, because he was down there in Florida. He dropped out of school and was supposedly taking care of Wendy Williams while hundreds of thousands of dollars were flying out of her accounts. He was spending her money. He wasn't going to school. So they put the stop on the money coming out of the account. And it's like, wait a minute, you took all my money. I don't have a place to stay. The condition was you were going to get paid as long as you were in school and your grades were up to par. So that was a motivation for her son to go back to school and get his degree. And congratulations to her son. He wouldn't have gone back to school had he not been told, you're not getting any money unless you go back to school. How was he going to take care of Wendy? Wendy didn't even have the parental influence to get her son into school again. He was just spending her money, living in this fancy Miami apartment. Wendy was living with me. Were her needs being met? No. The family's complaining. They parade her across social media. It's embarrassing. The family had Wendy in that series. Where's Wendy Williams? I think the name. They got paid. And what were they doing? They were complaining about Wendy was drinking too much. They were mad because they say there's a driver who takes Wendy to the liquor store. They're upset because Wendy was stashing bottles of liquor in the house. They were whining because Wendy was kicking them out of the house. She wasn't being taken care of. She wasn't listening. They're trying to tell her, don't order alcohol when we go to a restaurant. I'll order what I want. I drink when I drink. They splashed all this across the international airwaves. And when somebody steps in, because obviously there's a problem, now they're complaining. They wanted to jump the driver taking her to get alcohol. But now there's an issue that she's in a facility. I guess they're saying it's a memory care unit. They're upset that she's in a memory care facility getting care, or she says she feels that she's being imprisoned. I'm not going to say anything against Wendy Williams. I'm not going to challenge Wendy Williams. I got issues with her family. They know exactly what they're doing. If they cared about Wendy Williams, they wouldn't have been raiding her account. If they cared about Wendy Williams, they would use the legal system. We don't want to accept the fact that the government has the right to step in and take control of us and our money. If any one of us right here and now is suspected of money laundering, the bank is going to freeze your account. They're not going to ask permission. Can I please freeze your bank account? I suspect that you're involved with money laundering. Can I freeze your account? No, they're just going to freeze the account and they're going to contact the authorities. It's the same thing with Wendy Williams. There was suspicious activity on her accounts, and by law, they are required to freeze the account or they're going to be liable. Wells Fargo isn't going to make any other moves as far as releasing that account until they're ordered by the court to do so. What would be worse? Wendy being raided, all her money being stolen, and then what? What is everybody going to say then? How can the bank allow that to happen? You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. People know what was going on. Now there's mass hysteria. Wendy Williams' family's mad because they can't get access to the bank account. She's in a facility where people just can't come and have her do whatever they want her to do so they can get money out of her account. They were ripping her off. Who in her family's trustworthy? If they were trustworthy, they would have submitted the application to become her guardian. They would have gone through the process. Wendy Williams is not in the position to handle her own business. I believe every single word of what this guardian has stated. It is not the guardian's decision. This is something that two physicians have certified. Wendy Williams' own primary care physician and a neurologist. You have to have two physicians in New York. Has anyone ever done the research on this? I did the research. In New York, you have to have the primary care physician, the person that knows the person, and you need an expert in the area of the alleged illness of the incapacitation. So they're saying it's dementia, major neurocognitive disorder. A specific diagnosis is a frontal temporal type of dementia. So you're saying they wouldn't found some doctor off the street to lie that she has this diagnosis? This diagnosis, all diagnoses related to major neurocognitive disorders are not reversible. You can slow the progression of the disease, but you cannot reverse the condition. So you have these idiots like Charlemagne the Fraud coming up here telling Wendy not to take prescribed medication. This is a reason why they have Wendy in a memory care facility, not living with relatives who will give her access to idiots like Charlemagne. How do any of us know, including Charlemagne the Fraud, what medication Wendy Williams has been prescribed and what it's prescribed for? Even if Charlemagne the Fraud was a physician, he's not Wendy Williams' physician. That is illegal on many accounts. Number one, he's not a physician. Number two, he's not the treating physician, should not be giving medical advice on any level. So you have Wendy Williams Remove her from this facility. So you have fools like Charlemagne the Fraud making sure she doesn't take prescribed medication. The time to express caring and concern about Wendy Williams was long before she got this diagnosis. They treated her like a dog with respect to her money. Look at the history. Her ex husband. Yes, he was working on the show. Yes, he was paid a salary, but he had access to her credit cards. He was using her money to pay for the lifestyle of a mistress. And we know it affected him because as soon as she filed those divorce papers, she started repoing cars. He didn't have cash money. He was accessing money. So there's one example right there. The reason why you can't just have Wendy Williams free and clear walking around because of this diagnosis and because she's vulnerable. And it stated there were multiple instances where Wendy Williams herself expressed concerns of people accessing her money, and there were third-party claims against other people. They sealed those documents. Wendy Williams' family is no good for Wendy Williams. They only want Wendy Williams next to them so they can access her money. They don't give a damn about her. They want to make it seem, oh my God, she's locked away against her will. It's a court order. She may not like it, but she has an attorney. Wendy Williams is represented by a lawyer. She can easily tell her lawyer, I don't like this, which I'm sure she has. The lawyer will file a motion, which maybe they already have filed a motion. They'll go to court. The judge will hear what the lawyer has to say. The lawyer can present alternative evidence. The lawyer can ask for another opinion, another medical opinion, and present it to the court to challenge the findings. All of those things are at Wendy's disposal. Wendy can say, Judge, I want another attorney. I don't want this lawyer. That is up to the court. But none of us here on the outside know what's really happening on the inside, specifically because the documents, the case is sealed. All you have is this family who's angry because they don't have unfettered access to Wendy's money. That is the reason why they're dragging Wendy around on the social media campaign, saying she's locked up. She has her money taken away from her. Weren't they complaining she was buying liquor? They want the visitors restricted. Who's to say what they're going to bring Wendy into the facility? They all want Wendy to like them. They want to get on her will. So they're going to do whatever Wendy wants them to do if they have free flowing access to her. They'll start bringing alcohol to her. They'll start bringing drugs to her. That's what they did to Britney Spears. People want to get mad at Britney Spears' father. He had to actually physically jump on somebody because they were raiding her accounts. Had it not been for Britney Spears' father, she'd be broke and possibly dead. But there you heard, he's ripping Britney Spears off. She's in prison. Okay, they said he ripped her off. Where's that lawsuit? Yeah, they said they sued him and that lawsuit went away. Okay, well, then we want the legal fees. Okay, they sued him for legal fees and that went away. There was a settlement. Everything Britney Spears' father did for her was approved by the court. The court finally decided it's time to let go of this conservatorship and let the conservatorship go. The father didn't rip her off. Every single cent he got, the court approved. She would be dead. She would be broke. He said they were bringing drugs and alcohol into the concert. He had to hire people to look after Britney, and they were allowing people to bring her drugs and alcohol. He had to physically go himself to her concerts until he could get things under control to stop the flow of drugs and alcohol, replace all these people, because these people will do anything to please the rich person so they can get on the rich person's side to get the rich person's money. This is why Wendy Williams' family, quote unquote, is so mad. They trashed and bashed her. They got money out of her with that series. But now that she's in a facility where they don't have free access to her, they want to run around here and cause this media hysteria. It's not going to help. That's not going to change anything. The only thing that's going to change, they need to go in court and file documents. You're not going to get the situation changed by spreading a bunch of bullshit on social media. And Wendy Williams saying she's not incapacitated, okay, I get it. People who have issues like with substances, they don't want to accept a diagnosis. Of course, they're going to say they don't have the diagnosis. I believe she has it. Absolutely do. She has the ability to challenge the findings. Challenge the findings. That's what you do in court. It's not going to change on social media. This money grubbing, leeching family of Wendy Williams has done her no good. If they were the ones who cared for her, who were so concerned about her well being, they would be her guardians. They would be the backup guardians. They're not in the position for a reason. Stop and think about that, folks. I had to get my 2 cents in because this hysteria is ridiculous, people. Out of control. It's not going to change. They need to get their asses into court and file some paperwork. Get bonded, take your life and turn it upside down and provide 24-hour care for someone who is indeed incapacitated. There goes that word, incapacitation. It's a word that a lot of people have so little understanding about. It isn't something you can assess by simply speaking to someone. I'm going to address it in another video, but beware of the money grubbers. Once people see there's a weakness, once they see you're vulnerable, watch them swoop down. And this is what they're doing with Wendy Williams. Yes, family members do these things. What's the reason people are acting like family members are always looking out for your best interest? Everybody knows it's a bunch of bullcrap. Yes, there are family members who do look after our best interest. There sure enough are family members who don't. And in Wendy Williams' situation, there are no family members who are qualified, who are capable, who are ethical enough to manage her care. If there were, they would be doing it. Listen, folks, more coming your way. In the meantime, buyer beware.